I'm going to start by taking the measures to build the two rings that will make up these extensions for the table saw. So we'll mark, I take the measures, I'll mark where I want to cut, and then I use the table saw and the sled to start making the cuts. These are the initial parts I need. I'm going to use a square to make sure that I place them precisely at 90 degrees, so at the end when I measure everything it's all going to be square. I mark where I want the screws to go through and I pre-drill them. It is good advice to also countersink the holes. I haven't done it in this case, but this is for something that is going to be used in the garage. It's not actually a piece of furniture, so it's not that really important. But pre-drilling, it's extremely important. You do not want to split the wood. First ring is ready, and the second ring is completely the same as the first one. Now we're going to start attaching the rest of the frame. This is going to be used so that the second ring can then be attached to it. It's going to have 6 of those sides for the frame. Screws are attached from the left and the right side. Now I'm marking where I want a middle piece of wood. This is just going to give extra strength to the whole structure. Plus, on this piece of wood, the cabinet that I'll be building at a later video is going to also rest on. If you see on the right, those legs are shorter simply because we're going to. That's where the part where the table saw is actually going to be resting on. And that's the second ring attached to the frame. Looks very strong. I'm going to use 6 casters. 3 of them, the front ones or those close to where I stand, will have brakes. The other 3 on the opposite side will not have brakes. This will make it easier to remove the brakes when I need to quickly move the table saw from one side to another. Again, pre-drilling first and then screwing the casters in. The frame itself is basically finished. It is now time to start covering all of the holes. We're going to start with the part where we going to place the table saw on top of it, which is the part where I'm basically kneeling right now. I've clamped it to make sure that it sits precisely the way I need it, and I will be screwing it later on. I've placed the table saw on top of it just to make sure, just to look how it's going to basically look like, because I'm going to put the top side on the right side in a little while. I want to make sure that the table saw sits at a good height compared to the thickness of the material. Before fixing the table saw, I made sure I made the hole for the dust collection system. Time to start looking at the fan system. The fan system is probably one of the most important part of this project to make sure that everything is cut aligned. I've bought the straight edge and I clamped it really hard to the frame. The frame itself, when you buy lumber at the store, is never straight if you don't joint it, and I didn't join it. So what happens is that when you place the table saw on the base, even though you might put it parallel to the side wall, that you see built there, it doesn't mean that it's going to be the front of the table saw parallel to the fence system. So what I'm doing is I'm actually taking the saw itself and move it to be sure that is nicely attached to that fence, to that metal bar. And I don't care if it's not 100% aligned to the side of the frame. What's important is that it's just precisely aligned to the front bar. That will give me the straight cuts that I need. With that done, I can then finally making sure that I fix the table saw to the base without moving it at all. That is very important. Once you find a good position, do not move the table saw.